In the NFL, narratives can make or break a player before he even steps on the field. Sometimes those narratives come from genuine analysis, but more often than not, they're shaped by half-truths, biases, or straight-up agendas. That's why it's so powerful when a respected voice in the league steps up and sets the record straight. Recently, Jalen Hurts, the star quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles, did just that. He put his reputation on the line to defend a young quarterback whose name has been tossed around in countless controversial conversations, Shedeur Sanders, the son of NFL legend Deion Sanders. Hurts didn't just offer casual praise. He outright exposed the lies surrounding Shedeur, tore down the myths, and declared him ready for the NFL spotlight. When Hurts speaks, people listen. He's not just another veteran tossing out hollow compliments to be diplomatic. He knows what it takes to survive and thrive in the NFL. He's been through the grind, fought through doubters of his own, and earned his place as one of the league's elite quarterbacks. So when he says Shedeur Sanders is ready for the NFL, that statement carries weight. Hurts didn't hesitate to push back against critics who claimed Sanders was overhyped, arrogant, or not mature enough. He saw through the media spin and called it out for what it was. Noise designed to tear down a young talent before he's even had the chance to prove himself. One of Hurts' most striking points was his confidence that Sanders has every tool necessary to succeed at the next level. Arm strength, accuracy, football IQ, these aren't just buzzwords when Hurts mentions them. He's talking about tangible skills Sanders has already displayed under pressure. Hurts pointed to Sanders' poise in clutch moments, his ability to stand tall against blitzes, and his knack for dissecting defenses like a veteran. These are qualities scouts dream of in a quarterback. And yet, for reasons Hurts isn't afraid to call out, Sanders hasn't been given the same respect as other top prospects. Part of that disrespect, Hurts argued, comes from the way confidence gets twisted into arrogance. Sanders walks with swagger, sure. He carries himself with pride, yes. But in today's football culture, that confidence is too often painted as entitlement. Hurts wasn't buying that narrative. To him, Sanders isn't some cocky kid riding his father's legacy. He's a respectful, hard-working young man who believes in himself, and Hurts knows firsthand that belief is essential. Without it, you don't last in this league. Hurts also went after another angle critics have used against Sanders, his interviews. Some insiders whispered that Shedeur came across as unprepared, immature, or too brash when facing the media. Hurts shot that down immediately. He's seen Sanders in public, heard him in interviews, and watched how he conducts himself. To Hurts, Sanders is articulate, thoughtful, and professional, exactly what teams should want in a franchise quarterback. The media's portrayal, he argued, was more about bending perception than reflecting reality. It wasn't about who Sanders truly is. It was about fitting him into a pre-written story. And that's what makes Hurts' defense so important. He knows how damaging those false stories can be. He's lived it. Early in his career, he was doubted, nitpicked, and underestimated. People questioned his throwing ability, his decision-making, even his personality. Yet he proved them all wrong with resilience, hard work, and relentless focus. In Sanders, Hurts sees that same resilience. Despite being under constant fire, Sanders hasn't let the criticism derail him. He stayed committed to his craft, blocking out the noise and focusing on what he can control, his performance on the field. That performance speaks volumes. Whether at Jackson State or Colorado, Sanders has consistently shown he can command an offense. His ability to read defenses, make quick decisions, and deliver precise throws under pressure isn't just promising, it's proof. Hurts summed it up bluntly. Everything people say Sanders can't do, he's already done. He's already displayed those skills in live game action, and he's done it with the kind of composure you can't fake. Of course, some will argue that it's still a small sample size, that Sanders has more to prove before the NFL should take him seriously. But Hurts challenged that logic. How many other quarterbacks get crowned as next-level ready after just a handful of flashy games? Why does Sanders, despite putting up the numbers and showcasing the skills, get held to a different standard? That double standard is exactly what Hurts wanted to expose. Beyond the X's and O's, Hurts also highlighted Sanders' work ethic. Talent may open doors, but it's the grind that keeps them open. Sanders has shown he's willing to put in the hours, whether it's studying film, tightening mechanics, or staying late after practice to perfect timing with his receivers. Every crisp throw on the field is the result of relentless preparation off it. Hurts knows this because he's lived it himself, and he recognizes the same hunger in Sanders. That hunger, more than anything else, is what convinces him Sanders is ready. What's perhaps most telling is how Sanders himself has responded to all the chatter. When asked about his role and whether he's competing for a starting spot, his answer wasn't about politics or complaining. He kept it simple. Whenever it's time for me to get out there and play, I'ma play. That's not arrogance. That's focus. That's a young man refusing to be distracted by the circus around him. Hurts admires that, and it's part of why he's so quick to defend Sanders. The truth is, narratives like these aren't new. Every generation of athletes has players who get unfairly targeted by the media. Sometimes it's because of their background, sometimes because of their personality, and sometimes just because it makes for a better story. But when the dust settles, talent and character always rise to the top. Hurts is betting that Sanders will be one of those players who breaks through, not because of who his father is, but because of who he is. A dedicated, resilient quarterback with the tools to thrive. That's why Hurts' message carries so much weight. He's not just vouching for Sanders as a favor to a fellow player. He's making a statement to fans, media, and even NFL front offices. Stop believing the lies. Stop twisting confidence into arrogance. Stop nitpicking interviews into character assassinations. Look at the film. Look at the work ethic. Look at the results. Sanders has already shown he belongs, and it's time to give him the respect he's earned. Of course, Sanders' journey is far from over. He'll still face more doubters, more challenges, and more tests as he transitions into the NFL. But with veterans like Jalen Hurts backing him, he has both validation and guidance. He knows that the road ahead won't be easy, but he also knows that patience, resilience, and relentless work will carry him through. Hurts' defense of Sanders isn't just about one player. It's about challenging the toxic cycle of narratives that can derail young athletes before they get a fair shot. It's about reminding everyone that the game is won on the field, not in headlines. And it's about highlighting the qualities, mental toughness, humility, and work ethic that truly define greatness. So, where does this leave Shedeur Sanders? Squarely in the spotlight, but this time with a powerful ally by his side. Hurts has made it clear that he believes in Sanders, not just as a quarterback, but as a person. And if Hurts' words are any indication, the NFL better start preparing for the arrival of a player who's ready to shake up the league. Because no matter how loud the noise gets, no matter how twisted the narratives become, the truth has a way of cutting through. And the truth, as Jalen Hurts made clear, is that Shedeur Sanders is more than ready. He's not a storyline. He's not a product of hype. He's a quarterback built for the NFL, and sooner rather than later, he's going to prove it.